All right, I'm just going to let this play a little bit. Just going to give you guys a little bit of a taste of what a blind Krangled run looks like. And also when chat's controlling which passives you take. Just enjoy. Be in awe of the DPS and the quality of life. The great build that you're playing.
Oh, man.
Watch me lose my mind. Sinking into despair.
It's bad.
It's bad. All right. We'll mute that, and you can continue watching the DPS slowly trickle down on Dominus. Yeah, so we are about halfway through the Krangle League, and I thought I'd make a quick little video and just talk about it. My experience with it, what I think we can improve with it. I'm very disappointed in the fact that GGG didn't change anything. We'll look at the race standings. You know, congrats to Jung Roan for no-lifing the past 3 days and hitting level 100 ahead of everyone else, like by a pretty wide margin. And yeah, just my thoughts on what they could do to improve it in the future. Continuing to talk, trying to stall, waiting until Dominus finally dies so we can wrap it up and play the intro. And he's finally dead. All right, we'll go to the intro and we'll just talk about it. That was the pain that we went through. Partially self-inflicted, but also you-inflicted. What we did on stream is we actually were doing votes for, we let Twitch chat and YouTube chat as well, vote for which direction I would put my passive points. I would basically say like, hey, 1, 2, or 3, and then which direction to go. And people would vote for it. And that's why the passive tree looks like this. It originally was going all the way up here without taking a single medium node or anything. And then we kind of explored a little bit. It's really bad. And then what I was doing is I figured I would play a Templar, and you know I would just pick, it doesn't matter which ascendancy you'd pick because they're all totally scrambled. I would pick a Guardian, and hopefully Guardian would give me something good. I did get something decent. I got Rapid Assault right here. Leveled with the regular stuff, Rolling Magma with Flame Wall, Holy Flame Totem, and then I went into Absolution. Unfortunately, as you saw, Absolution without any supporting skills actually, or supporting passives rather, actually ends up being really, really bad. But then we actually did pivot into something that worked out pretty decently. And yeah, we'll talk about the meta and everything in a second. What is the Krangle League and why the heck do people even play it? So it is a custom league, as you can see right here, that GGG puts on. This is the second time they've done it. And as you can see, everything is hidden until you get one node away. If you do respec, if you respec out of that point, you actually lose the sight here. There's basically a fog of war. As you can also see, the ascendancies are totally scrambled. You get random stuff in every single node. And the idea is play like that. Play like that, see if, you know, maybe a fun build emerges, maybe something interesting happens, maybe you just like that exploration. On the positive side, I do think that the very first day is really interesting, where, you know, there's a spreadsheet that people are sharing. There's actually this website right here, I'll share it with you guys, that people were you know, putting together as a community source thing. Unfortunately, he actually did have to lock it. It's not fully filled out, but he did have to lock it because people were trolling with it, as usual on the internet. People were just setting everything to, I don't know, really bad nodes and random stuff. So he actually had to like rewind it and lock it. But we actually have this website, I'll link it below, that you can kind of plan out your build if you want. It runs really, really slow. You know, it's not his fault. It's just a third-party thing that someone threw together really quickly. We do know the passives now. They're mostly revealed. You can look at the ascendancies and plan out a build. If we do look at the results here, and we look at the racing, this is the SSF version. There is a trade version as well. But if we look at the SSF version, like I said, Jung Roan got first place. And then if we look at the if we look at the skills that people play, it is the usual suspects. Detonate Dead, Cold Dot, Detonate Dead, Righteous Fire. When you see Fire Trap, that also means Righteous Fire. We'll see some Poisonous Concoction. That's basically it. Because, right, we are working in a situation where pretty much any build that you play is probably going to be substandard. It's going to be like extra inefficient. And, you know, particularly if you're racing and trying to go really quickly, you are very limited by what you have access to there. So people are just going to play the most efficient thing with bad passives and just try to make it work. Hierophant is a really big winner right now. A lot of people are doing that. He has very good generic scaling at the moment. If we take a look right here, he has Aspect of Carnage for just 40% more damage. Obviously incredible. Conviction of Power, you get endurance charges, you get power charges. Righteous Providence, so if you do want to scale crit chance, also really good attributes. Attributes are actually a really big deal here because all of the small nodes are shifted around as well. You're going to be very, very tight on attributes. Like you might actually just want to look for an Abstramentus or something because that's going to be a bit of a struggle. Brutal Fervor, which is Overleech, as well as Master Alchemist, Essence Glutton. Essence Glutton's a little weird, and then Unstoppable right here. He's got some really, really good stuff. You know, generically, the thing that a lot of people are doing right now is they're using Ricochet from the Deadeye, and they're playing Lightning Arrow. So yeah, just Ricochet with Aspect of Carnage, you're going to get really good damage. And, you know, if you go into crit, Conviction of Power, and Righteous Providence, you can do like a crit Lightning Arrow with Ricochet here is pretty good. And in fact, you actually wouldn't do crit for a while because, actually, it's easier for me to find it on my character. We actually have access to, where is it? Right here. We have Precise Technique. So you never deal crit, but another 40% more damage multiplier. Because of Precise Technique, you actually wouldn't worry about crit. Anyway, I don't want to go into too much detail really about the builds and all that. Really want to talk more about the format of the event. You'll notice that I'm only level 54. How many times did I die? 5 times. I mean, all things considered, that's not too bad. For me, it's just not very fun, but it's almost fun. Really disappointed that they didn't tweak the format. I don't know what the actual right solution would be, because I think the exploration phase, the decisions mattering and having to kind of problem solve on the fly is really interesting. However, the time investment and the time required to undo those decisions, like I don't want the decisions to not matter, but the amount of effort that you have to get to regret out of the bad points, to wait a couple days until you see good nodes. I get it if you want to race, if you want to go quickly, like that problem solving and that adaptability really, really matters. But there's so much RNG here. You only see one node. You have this like cat and mouse situation where you're looking at what the community is discovering, and then you're also like holding on to your points and kind of waiting until you get enough regrets, until you're able to fix your build. You're going to have this like real pain champ type of situation that for a very, very dedicated player, I think it's going to feel awful. I think it's really going to turn off a lot of people from pushing too hard into it because the consequences of taking a bad node are so extreme. By extreme, I just mean like, you know, on average, maybe it takes you, you know, once you get to maps, maybe you can get 1 regret an hour, maybe 2 regrets an hour. If you're a bit more efficient, 3 or 4 regrets an hour. But even then, that's a number of hours invested to undo how many mistakes as you're leveling up. Increase the regret drop rate, maybe cut the price of regrets in half from the vendor. So instead of making it 2 scours, maybe make it 1 scour. Anything to just make a little bit more access to that, to make it less punishing for, you know, non-hardcore players, just to make it a little bit more fun. Because there's some really good, fun things about the discovery here. Like, you know, we were poking down here because I was playing a bow build, because I did transition into Lightning Arrow, which actually ended up being pretty decent because we have access to Master Fletcher as well as, I think I found Multi-Shot. Yeah, Multi-Shot up here, Master Fletcher. We also have Arcing Blows. So, okay, Lightning Arrow sounds really good. Perfectionist right here. Finesse, as well as Whispers of Doom. Like, really fun, cool things that were fun to hit, right? As soon as I saw Precise Technique here, I was like, okay, now I got to find my accuracy, make sure I get enough so I get that 40% more damage. Like, I really enjoyed that process, but now I'm level 54, and the thought of trying to take this build, particularly into red maps, and the amount of effort that it takes, not only the regular challenge of playing, you know, I did choose to play an SSF, and I know that that's an additional challenge, but not only playing an SSF, but also the requirement of having to farm up those regrets to fix my build, just to make it feel good for playing, you know, non-detonate dead, non-cold dot. No matter what the meta for, you know, particularly SSF, particularly racing type of situations, you know, there a couple of builds are going to float to the top. We had the era of Seismic Trap and, you know, cold dot and detonate dead have always been there. But man, like, just some tweaks here and there, and this event could be so much more interesting and so much more fun. And yeah, with this one, I'm going to leave it at level 50. I think that's just going to be my rant right now. I just want to keep it short and sweet today. How are you guys doing with Krangle League? Are you guys going further than this? You can go a little bit further. You do get additional, I think every 10 levels, they enter you into an additional raffle. So, you know, if you want to raffle for those events or the raffle for the new MTX, you can do that. But I'm I'm not really motivated to do it personally. But for the next event, Blast from the Past, the Sentinel and Kalandra one, I'm going to be going very hard on that one. And, you know, I hope that I do very, very well on that one. I'm really excited about that. Just saving my energy until then. So yeah, let me know in the comments below how it's been going for you. Would love to hear if there's any cool builds out there that maybe I missed. Just looking at the list of what people are playing seems pretty, I don't know. I haven't really seen awesome broken builds that emerge from this. And by such a limited event, I just feel like we're not going to see too many of those because people don't, you know, they don't have the time to put that much in. And I think this format could be really cool if it was just like, you know, random tree per character, less planning, and then just allow, you know, just give us a lot more regrets. And you really have to problem solve based on what you see, and you can't crowdsource it, but allow us to, you know, be more flexible, right? Something like that I think would be more fun as like a sandbox or a playground for everyone to experiment in. But yeah, that's it for me on Krangled. I think I said the exact same thing in the last video last time they ran this, and I just hope that they, you know, they take a little feedback and they think, you know, they think about making this more of a fun, wacky event that it should, like, look at how crazy this is. Like, really lean into the insanity and don't, I don't know, and don't restrict things as much as regular PoE. Like, it doesn't have to be balanced. You know, just void the league, go crazy. Who cares, right? All right, that's it for me. I'm gonna go get ready for the stream. See y'all later. Goodbye.